You see, the name changes, but the man remains the same.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso. And you remember when we spoke on Too Cool and Rikishi? Well, just to summarize here, Too Cool and Rikishi, yes, that's actually their stable name, despite that being like saying Public Enemy and Flava Flav. You know what, why do it? Just why do it? Anyway, the team was beloved by many wrestling fans of the time period, and they were known far more for their dancing than their wrestling. Rikishi, in particular, was more known for the way that he'd shake his ass in the face of his opponents, as opposed to, the matches he'd have with them. And no hyperbole here, okay? His gimmick was literally fat dude who shakes his ass in the face of his opponents. And not making the situation any better was the fact that the majority of his weight was all in his ass. I mean, look at that. There's like no style. I had an ex just like that once. Anyway, Rikishi was a very memorable part of the Attitude Era. And sure, they'd eventually screw that all up by trying to turn the big man heel and have him run over Stone Cold, but to their credit, they rebounded and eventually paired him back up with Too Cool member Scotty 2 Hotty. However, in 2004, WWE would release Big Keish due to his inability to lose weight, which they'd requested him to do repeatedly. In September of 2007, he'd return to TV screens of Marks Everywhere, signing a deal with TNA. He'd be brought out to end a show to the roar of an Impact crowd. Entering to a ripoff, I guess they like to call them sound-alikes, a sound-alike of his old WWF theme. Seriously, compare and contrast here. That's really using the term inspired by lightly. He was announced as Junior Fatu by Jim Cornette, who immediately booked him against top TNA talent Christian Cage, to the former NWA champion's dismay. And because both the terms Rikishi and Stinkface were copyrighted by WWE, the sumo garb he wore now read Bootylicious, which was also the name of his finisher. And all of you who know me and know the way I do things, I'm sure you know where this is going.
You're ready for this journey. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this. Cause my body too bootylicious.
Rikishi, hold on. Junior Fatu would take on Christian in his debut match with the company the following week, in what I think was the main event of the show, but don't necessarily quote me on that. And of course, as you can imagine, stink faces were handed out. Keish, God damn it, Fatu handled himself well in the match before he was rolled up after a distraction from Christian's stablemate, AJ Styles. Yes, that AJ Styles. Samoa Joe would come to his aid after the match, half because he was feuding with Christian and half because he was Samoan. So, just stick them all together, they're all from the same island, right? I mean, they're practically family. While we're at it, why don't we just start telling people they're cousins? The next week on the company's weekly show, Impact, Rikishi, you know what, screw it. He's Rikishi. I'm going to call him Rikishi. His name's Rikishi. The next week on Impact, Rikishi would team with his cousin Samoa Joe and LAX, competing against Christian, AJ Styles, the soon-to-be Loki, and Christopher Daniels in a winning effort. Samoa Joe would continue to align himself with Rikishi for the next couple weeks, being seen with him and also helping him win matches, which for some odd reason he forgot to do since his WWE run. And honestly, those were really his only somewhat memorable moments with the company. I mean, yeah, of course there was that wonderful time Kurt Angle barged in on the man trying to take a shit. I think we all have fond memories of that. Oh yeah, and then there's a time he competed in a reverse battle royal. The match where you needed to throw your opponents inside the ring. You started from the outside, but then you get in the ring and then you throw them back out of the ring.
Brilliant!
But side note, they treated him like he was Andre the Giant in that match. I mean, it took literally everybody in the ring to eliminate him. Oh yeah, and there was the time that he channeled The Rock and acted as if he was bigger than the entire locker room, which on some levels he was, while still being presented as a babyface.
It's been nothing but a breath of fresh air. Do you smell that something nasty in the air?
Yeah.
I think what you're smelling is the next time we have this interview, you'll be talking to me about my title shot.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty!
Ultimately, his run in TNA would last a little less than 2 months, due to Rikishi asking for more money and being denied. He showed up for a month, had a shit attitude, lost the majority of his matches, but still somehow didn't really put anyone over, and demanded more money. What a historic run. I mean, this is easily his top 10. No, top 10. Screw that. Top 5, top 3. If not number 1, then a shoo-in for number 2. With that being said, in all honesty, I was a teenager when all this happened, and I marked out at his appearance and Impact. I was actually invested in his run there. Of course, it would be to my own disappointment when his time there amounted to, well, to nothing at all. I mean, his TNA run made him running over Austin seem like the good old days. And when you can make me yearn for a heel Rikishi, well, you definitely did something right. And I am saying that ironically. This was not the man in his prime, but regardless, still a fan of Rikishi, and I just want to thank him for his memories, both good and bad, and also the entirely forgettable.
Man, there wasn't this much drama in the WWE.
So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free dollar to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that dollar, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTart, oh.
I don't think you're ready for this journey. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this. 'Cause my body took